are now entering the horror sanctum.
So welcome everyone to the Horror Sanctum, our first attempt ever at a live podcast here at the Bride of Frankencon. And hopefully this works well, but if not, we'll be learning in real time with all of you guys watching later. We are here joined, the full crew here, myself, TJ, John, Jay, and Kellen, and we are here with our special guest, Honey Gregory, also known as Honey the Mail Girl. Monstervision, and Joe Bob Drive-In, and the wonderful Brian Bremer, who you may know from Pumpkinhead, Society, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5. And we're going to start our...
And many more.
And many more, and more to come, right?
More to come. Actually, yeah, I'm actually going to... Yeah.
From such things as
Yeah.
Well, I'm Nick in the Walking Dead video game. A lot of people... He talks like this, though, so most people don't know that's me. And I got to be Mr. Peanut for 2 years, a couple of years. Yep. Yeah, they couldn't afford to pay Robert Downey Jr., so they paid me instead. Yeah, and but mainly I just do like a lot of commercials, and like you wouldn't necessarily know, Bank of America, whatever, just 'cause that's my bread and butter. So yeah, I love it. I've done it for... I do coach voiceover at the Atlanta Voiceover Studio. Yeah. And it's all online, honey, like I said. So yeah, just go to atlantavoiceoverstudio.com and all the information's there about classes and coaching and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, because you should definitely do it. You have a beautiful voice. Yeah. I know you were getting into it for a while there, but now you have...
I was trying to.
Yeah.
It's auditioning.
Yeah.
So I have kind of like, I can do my sweet honey voice.
Well, you can do it too. You do it at home. Great. And just your speaking voice too is just so, yeah.
It's low though, don't you think?
I don't think it's low.
No?
Mm-mm. Nope, not at all.
Like
So you're from...
And you can do it from
corporate,
home.
Corporate.
You could do corporate stuff too. I'm sorry, we're totally getting into our...
So you're from North Carolina. Honey's from
Originally.
Texas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Kind of got that southern thing
Got that.
going.
we can do it.
We're all from
We can do it,
around
right?
Nashville.
Right.
But yours is really strong.
Well, I'm from South Carolina, so I'm
Well,
the
now
son
I
of
grew
the
up in
South.
South Carolina.
You did?
Yeah, where are you from?
A little town called Walhalla.
I know Walhalla.
Really?
Yeah, I drive when
Well, yeah, you drive through it to get to better places.
That's right. Well, because I was raised in Rock Hill. I mean, I was born in North Carolina, but then we moved to Columbia, and then my dad moved to...
up at a talent show in Rock Hill.
What? Where?
It was a Colgate Country Showdown.
Well, hot damn! Congratulations!
Yeah, sing karaoke.
Fantastic.
Apparently second best.
You were a musician though at one point.
I was.
Yeah.
Used to do
I
that.
still haven't heard you sing.
But this
or anything
isn't
yet.
about me.
Fantastic.
This is about our first conversations, or no, our first memories of horror. What drew us to horror? Why don't you go first, Brian? I know you
Oh
have some
shoot.
good stories about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I always liked it as a kid. It was a thing you would like stay up late in your parents' basement and watch with friends when they slept over, and as you got older, maybe smoke a little doobie, but maybe that's okay. I mean, it's not okay for kids to do that, but anyway, yeah. So oh boy, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. It's the adrenaline, so I'm gonna say a lot of inappropriate things, and I'm sorry. But I grew up watching with my friends and things like that, and I love movies like Night of the Living Dead. But what really got me into it, and this is the thing, is I was on a trip with my mother, my grandmother, and my two grandmothers and my mother. It was a girls' trip, but they took me on it when I was about 11 or 12 years old. So they took me on the girls' trip to the mountains, and we stayed at a place called the Peaks of Otter Lodge up on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's still there. I found it recently. And it was this old, lodge where you walked outside of the little office to go to your room. You had to walk down a long outside corridor, and it was around Halloween.
Ooh.
And I snuck out of my room. I shared a room with my grandma, and I snuck out of the room, and I went down to the little office because they had a black and white TV. little tiny wooded cabin office, little black and white TV, like the size of that screen, right? The blinds were pulled behind me. It was dark, and they were showing John Carpenter's Halloween. And it was in black and white on the black and white TV. And yes. So I watched it by myself. I snuck out to watch it. And I watched it by myself. And then I had to walk back in the dark, in the mountains, all the way down to our room. And I was shit scared. So, but it was thrilling.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. And I fell in love with Halloween. Halloween is original Halloween.
It's my favorite.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I have to, there's a lot of great ones, but I think because of the memory it has of childhood.
Yeah.
It's
like embedded in
it's
your
embedded
mind.
and it's associated so strongly with that memory. It's like the people we meet at these conventions, like Frank, and they tell you, "Oh, I watched this with my dad when I was 6
It
years
blows your
old."
mind.
It blows your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, they can remember
Good.
that moment the first time they saw you. You're like, "Whoa, wow!" Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's humbling in
It
the
is
most beautiful way.
beautiful, but it's like so surreal and
It's surreal,
weird,
isn't it? Yeah,
at
isn't
the
it
same
weird?
time, like that's when you remember.
Get
You know?
used to it, honey.
Oh my God.
It's so amazing. Yeah,
So-
no, it's so amazing.
honey, what was your first experience with horror? I know you kind of have a circuitous route to horror, right? A little
Well, you know, similar kind of thing because when you're a kid, you're always wanting to sneak around and do something you're not supposed to be doing.
Well,
You know, and so, but I spent a lot of time with my grandma too. She was like this, you know, like the rock in my life.
Right.
But because her home was so tiny that the living room and her bedroom were like adjacent to each other, and so she could literally lay in her bed and watch TV in the living room.
in the living room.
It was so tiny, and so she monitored really close what was on, and she had to approve. So when I'd like to spend the night with her, she was a big fan of like your classic horror, like, you know,
Oh my
vampires,
gosh.
werewolves, you know, all those kind of things. And
Yeah.
so like all the black and whites or the 60s kind of stuff. So I kind of grew up just watching that. And I didn't really get to see anything super scary until like slumber parties when I was older. And Freddy Krueger was the first one that scared the freaking you know what out of me. Where to the point where it's like I was almost in tears. I'm like, okay, I'm going in the other room now. You know, like, I couldn't even finish it the first time.
Oh no.
But it's that feeling like you want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you don't want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then that's that moment that kind of like really grabs you. Like,
Yeah.
because you're scared and excited all at the same time.
Yeah.
And you don't know which way. It's kind of pulling you both ways. And so I think that was when like I really knew that scary movies were scary.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the part that like really stuck with me. Because before that, you know, your 60s, the black and whites and whatever,
Right.
you know, Christopher Lee and
Those were awesome.
I
Oh
mean,
my
they're
God, those were
fantastic.
awesome. They were
so
awful.
awesome.
They were awful and awesome. I forgot all about those.
Watch 'em
The
now.
Hammer Draculas. Yeah.
Watch 'em
I
now
love
and
finding
they
those
giggle,
now.
Right?
Yeah,
I
me
giggle, I
too.
laugh, think, oh, I used to think this was spooky.
I love like the Technicolor, like
Yeah.
pinkish colored blood.
Yeah.
That's like some kind of condiment that would
Super
exist on
runny,
Mars.
like really runny and really weird
Yeah.
looking.
God, honey, I forgot all
All very
about
real,
those.
but-
I loved those.
But it was just those were the
It was
what
cheesy.
started it.
Yeah.
That got you into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of like that gateway drug
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. That's the second drug reference in the conversation.
B movies, so to speak, were played on TV every Saturday and Sunday.
That's true.
People our age,
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
it
late at
wasn't a
night.
Big budget horror.
Yeah.
films,
Right.
It was those cheesy ones like Puppet Master or.
That's
You're like,
right.
Can I please stay up late? Can I please? And you're watching them and you're like, you're scared. and
Yeah.
you're
On
like,
things like Monstervision for our generation.
Well, yeah.
Was
Well-
what was
Yeah.
shock theater the generation.
oh,
And those
yeah.
are the ones that are embedded in people's minds and hearts, like the people that we meet.
Yeah.
And it's because they played them on the Saturday shows and
Yeah.
that this part of our memory. I had a wonderful moment today. I had two wonderful moments today. I just have to say, this beautiful boy, Gary, I'm sorry, who said that Pumpkinhead was the first horror movie he ever saw because his parents used to keep it up on the top shelf away from him, but someone mistakenly put it down like with Bambi and Cinderella.
Wow.
And he pulled it out and said, I want to watch this. And that's embedded in his memory. He's such a beautiful kid. And then his father passed away a while ago. So the movie means that to him, you know. And a woman, you know, came up. Sometimes somebody will come up and they'll say it to you. They'll say, I grew up watching you, like you just said.
Yeah, it blows
So,
your
like,
mind. You're like,
yeah.
really?
I'm your twisted Walt Disney,
Yeah.
right?
I think Pumpkinhead would probably be less traumatizing to a child than the first 10 minutes of Bambi.
Oh,
Probably.
Well, that's true. That's a good damn point. That's a good. Thank you, Walt Disney.
And we all
That's a
know
good
as
point.
as our top shelf liquor, that's where you keep the best stuff. Is the
Yeah.
top.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Well, my parents kept something else on the top shelf, and it wasn't horror movies, but I found those too.
X's right
There were X's all over them. It's like, what does this mean?
Well, that's the 70s. It was a different time.
Just the alphabet.
Thank you for reminding me. It was the
was the
70s.
alphabet.
It was about the alphabet.
Yes.
This is the letter X.
The birds and the bees.
The letter X. The birds and the bees.
By X.
Presented to you by X.
So since you guys have been doing the cons, because I know both of you guys have kind of somewhat recently come around to the con circuit.
Just
Like,
recently.
what's been some of the best stories you've gotten from people that kind of just surprised you?
Oh, me first? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to remember like exact details because everyone has these beautiful stories and like, Brian was saying, but it is the realization for me that people remember who I am.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. That's so special.
real?
Yeah.
Because, I'm so busy living life and raising kids and, changing the oil or getting the gas, putting gas in the tank or, taking the cat to the vet
Or being a lawyer?
just being, I'm practicing law and people's other problems. And then when people come up and they have these great stories, like Brian was saying, it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm special with somebody.
Yeah.
Other than my kid who's like,
Yeah.
Mom, where's the food?
Yeah.
Like, when are you feeding me? Where's my new shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
So
really
special.
Yeah, and just like right before I came in here, I was afraid I was going to be late because there was a lady in the wheelchair, and she was this beautiful redheaded lady, and she started telling me her stories about watching Joe Bob Briggs on Monstervision, and then she said to me, she goes, "I was very upset when you left the show," and I was like, "Well, I was upset too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go."
Yeah.
But it was so sweet.
Yeah.
Made me feel special.
You don't realize what an impact you guys have sometimes. I think Joe Bob, when I met him last, he was kind of the same way. Like, it's hard to imagine, like, me personally, I've always suffered from depression. So what helps me? Like, watch a horror movie, like whether it's Pumpkinhead or Monstervision or anything, like shopping mall. Like, we go to those things as a comfort. And I think that's kind of lost on people at times. Like you guys,
Yeah, it's a
don't realize
comfort,
how much
yeah.
it means. Like, just talked to George Hardy from Troll 2 last week, and he has no idea like what an impact he has on people, and you really do. Like, someone out there's favorite movie of all time is Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys taking time with us and talking about this stuff because that's what matters to us, and that's why we started this podcast.
Yeah.
Because you guys matter. And I'll tell you the short story.
Thank
I'm
you,
not going to
Shay.
name a name. We had someone on our show who I've met 4 times in person. 4 times.
Don't make me cry.
No, it's not a sad story. This is a sad story and a different kind of sad.
I don't have a
But
waterproof.
This story's gonna make you want to slap somebody.
We saw this person last weekend, and he didn't recognize me. And we literally had just talked to him a week ago.
Yeah.
You guys, you recognize me right off.
Right away.
You
Well, we
always
yeah.
a text. You're so sweet. We're both so amazing people. So we appreciate that. But yeah, you definitely have impacted people's lives around me.
Which is funny. It's just like I meet these wonderful people, and they're people. I'm like, oh gosh, I've got these friends now.
Yeah.
I've been so
That's right.
isolated, trying to be mommy and business owner that I've kind of forgot the world, and not intentionally. It's just
Right.
I'm wrapped up.
He's
and,
busy.
and then when people are so kind and they're like, oh yeah, let me text you this or send you that or come talk to us. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
people are so nice.
So Brian,
so
what's been
sweet.
some of the most sort of transformative stories for you that you?
God, there's so many. I mean, this is only I think this is my 5th con, right? I started with Tampa Bay Screams, then did Bride last year, and then now Frankencon last year, and now Bride of Frankencon's my 5th. So I haven't been to a whole lot, but I already have so many moments that blow me away that I talk about, like the one I just talked about, and yeah, it's just humbling and it's baffling. At Frankencon at Scarefest last year, there was a 16-year-old girl that had driven. Now, this in Lexington, Kentucky, and this 16-year-old girl showed up at the table with her mom and dad, and her mom said, "Hi, we're from upstate New York, and we have just driven, I don't know, godly number, 14 hours or something to get here because this is our daughter's favorite movie, and she specifically wanted to come here to see you." And that was like crazy,
Yeah.
but great. And she was 16. I'm surprised how young they are. Yeah, she drove all the way down to Lexington. Oh, yeah, it was Pumpkinhead. And there's tons of stories like that. I mean, this young man Gary today. I mean, I think that just about had me in tears. I mean, there were so many stories about why the movie was special to him, and now not everybody that you meet has those stories. Sometimes literally I was telling somebody this today. Sometimes someone comes up to your table and they're like, "Here, and here's a pen, and sign right there, and just your name, thanks." Right, but because they're collectors, right? And that's legit. And you buy it later on eBay. That is legit. So I'm not saying this happens all the time, but what I am saying is like this is a community. It is a family, and a lot of people come here to find their family, and you become very close to people.
And it's based in nostalgia and love.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Talk about the 16-year-old child's favorite movie.
Yeah.
That was probably one of their parents' favorite.
Yeah.
Right. And I have seen that. And I hear what I hear quite a lot is that because you talked about your grandma like an old horror, I hear this all the time. My grandma showed me Pumpkinhead when I was 6 years old to scare me into going to bed. And she told me if I didn't go to bed, Pumpkinhead was going to get me. I hear that all the time. I'm like, what is with grandmas in the South?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially
here now, you better watch this movie or wherever it is.
Grandma always said the boogeyman's can get you.
No,
Oh, yeah. Now, see, my mom,
grandma said
yeah.
the Boogeyman was gonna get me. I didn't
Yeah.
know who that was, but I knew I didn't want.
Yeah, but if my
The
grandma
Booger
showed me
Man.
that picture, I would believe it. His movie, I would have believed it. I was like,
What would you say the weirdest
Booger Man.
what's the weirdest thing you've ever had come to you to get signed? Like as far as like memorabilia, someone brings you something, whether it's a poster, a movie. You ever got like
Fathers
a
are
Pumpkinhead
in-
sock or something weird?
A sock. Would you sign my jock strap? No. Well, I know, honey. How rude. No, I did not get that. No, I didn't get that. No, I did a few years back. There was a screening that I went to before I started doing cons of Halloween and Pumpkinhead, which was cool because that's my favorite. Halloween is my favorite movie, and I was at a drive-in in Atlanta, Starlight Drive-In, I think it's called. I don't know if it's there anymore, but they showed Halloween and then they showed Pumpkinhead, and there were roller girls there. Do you know what roller girls are? Right? And one of the it was paved.
Roller girls don't work in the grass.
That's my favorite novel by Faulkner. Roller girls don't work in the grass. No, but this one roller girl, and they're endowed, right? Asked me to sign her boobie. And so I actually signed a boobie with a Sharpie. That was the weirdest thing. And the coolest thing I actually got today from that young man, Gary, that I told you about, he has got a film strip, a negative from the film. Yeah, I don't know where. We got it from a vendor here. And it's the closet scene where Pumpkinhead drags me out of the closet. Not the first time. Okay, never mind. Anyway, and Pumpkinhead drags me out of the closet. It's a scene a lot of people like who like the movie. So, and it's the film negative. It's from a print of the film, and it's mounted in a little box with a light behind it.
well, I guess
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, they were on reels.
Oh yeah,
So
this
someone just
was
pulled a reel.
way
Yeah,
back in the
yeah.
day. Yes, it was released in the theater, and there was no digital projection, so it was
So someone got a hold of some
Yep.
reel and they've spliced it up and they're
And
making
they
a
are
mint.
making a mint off of it. It's not my image; it's just the monster.
Oh,
I think because that's the thing. So I'll be like, hey, wait a minute. No, I'm just kidding. I don't
So
care.
I'm gonna go a little
Monster's creepy.
Barbara Walters.
I mean,
Ooh,
Second.
Bob
I love it.
Wow
I
Wow.
love it. Make
So
us cry.
Let's say
Oh.
you get into the film industry. You both are in the entertainment industry.
Mhm.
What would you say is the one thing that was the most surprising to you as an actor and actress wanting to get involved that you didn't know about before? Maybe you got in, you were like, wow, I didn't know it was this way, whether the set, the times,
Like
the-
generally
just
speaking,
generally speaking, not necessarily controversial, just something that was shocking to you in a way that you didn't understand about the film industry later.
when we
that you
first
learned.
got into it.
Well, I can take that two different ways.
Sure. And in whatever way is appropriate. Sure. I don't want to. Yeah.
Well, I guess the nice side that I kind of was the hurry up and wait. You know,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Sure.
you finally
Yeah.
get that audition and you finally get casted for something and you're
Yeah.
super excited and you get on set and the call time's like at 6 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you're there for 3 hours getting ready. And then they say, well, we probably won't get to you till like 5 or 6 o'clock tonight.
Oh, now it's going to be after lunch. Or now it's going to be,
They
yeah.
just keep pushing it back and pushing
Yeah.
it back. And then by then your makeup's melted off and you've had to
Oh
go
my
in like
God.
3 times and now your skin is aching because they've taken it off, put it back on, and they pulled on your hair so much. And by the end of the day, you're just like, oh my God, make it stop.
especially, I know it.
Yeah, right.
Send me home. I
Yes.
don't want to be in this damn movie. And especially the further down the call sheet you are, so on your call sheet, you'll see the roles listed on the call sheet and they're numbered. Like, and number 1 is like the lead role and all the way down. And the further down the call sheet you are, like
The earlier you got to be
the
there.
earlier you got to be
Yeah.
there, and usually the less priority. Like in the day, if the director has to sacrifice something,
Yeah.
he's not going to sacrifice the star scenes, right? So,
Yeah.
so you can end up waiting.
Yes.
I have this curse. I'll do movies once in a while. Still, I do. Like if I get asked to,
Nice.
not if I get asked to, if I get asked to audition, because I know a lot of casting directors, and sometimes I will get asked to audition for something. So I end up doing it, and I'll do like a legit, feature as opposed to voiceover once every couple of years. And I have this curse now, like they always schedule me in the morning, but they always shoot me after lunch.
Way after lunch.
And Ray McKinnon on Rectify for the Sundance Channel, Ray McKinnon actually apologized to me. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Brian. We're not going to get to your reverse until after lunch." So they shot all the lead actor scenes. Then they're going to turn and get coverage, right? Do the reverse. I'm like, "Hey, it's okay, Ray. It's okay." So of course you go to lunch and you eat like maybe a little piece of lettuce
Yeah.
and a little piece of fish or whatever. Like I tried not to eat and I was
Yeah.
starving because after lunch, when I eat,
Yes.
this happens.
Nothing fits or feels good.
Nothing fits. And then you shoot the damn thing. So I
Yeah.
had to eat a piece of fish. We shot my scene. It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful character. I'm really happy to have been a part of it. But my hairdresser says to me after she saw the episode, "Oh, Brian, you gained some weight." Not.
Yeah.
It was the fish.
It's just water.
It was
weight.
lunch bloat.
Yes. Yeah. Especially when they put you in these tiny little outfits.
Tiny little tight clothes, which
I
they
know.
always put me in. I don't know about you, honey. Yes. Yes. Lord, we were
Well,
running
that
on adrenaline. Right?
Right. Well, they used to, so when I was on Joe Bob, there was this one outfit that they would use fishing line to get me, like literally, because the first time we were on set and we shot it, the top buttons went pop, and then the next one would pop, and next thing you know, the girls were like, pop,
Oh,
And I'm like,
God.
And so they took me back in wardrobe, and they're like, fishing line. And so whenever I wore that costume, fishing line, but they would do the same thing. So
That was one of the
after
actual
lunch-
male girl outfits.
Yes.
right?
So
Yeah.
they would sew me in with fishing line at 9 in the morning. And then I have to eat lunch. And like, it's almost
Yep.
like rib breaking.
Mm,
you
yeah.
know,
It's
And
like
you're
a
just like,
corset.
Yeah.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
like you said, a couple bites and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're starving. And then you're done like at midnight and you like, where's like Jack in the Box or something.
Jack in the Box. Yeah, Jack in the Box. Absolutely. I wish we had Jack in the Boxes over here on this coast.
Jack in the Box at 2 a.m. is a delight.
It's a delicacy. Do you have Jack in the Box in Tennessee?
We do.
Oh, you do?
Well, some of them are closing down.
Oh.
A few left.
Well, so yeah, you think film, TV, it's glamorous, and it's like doing a play, or like you're in this moment, and you're in this moment for the whole duration, and you shoot it in pieces, and it's wonderful when you get to do the work. What I find is tough that a lot of people don't, and a lot of young actors that I talk to that are trying to get into the business don't realize, is you're auditioning mostly. Your job is to audition. And you've got to turn in a high volume of auditions in order to book the roles, because it's a numbers game.
It's a lot of rejection.
It's a lot of rejection. And I had a really hard time with that when I was starting out. It's like high school.
How do you learn?
It does. Here's how I cope with it, with the rejection, because this was hard for me. And LA was hard for me because LA casting is hard. I mean, I remember walking into some casting sessions and they'd be like, "What are you doing here? Who sent you for this part?" So yeah.
In the like waiting room waiting, they'd look at me
Yeah.
and go,
Oh, I
"What are
had
you
that
doing here?
happen.
What are
I
you
had
doing
male
here?"
actors try to like
I would
freak me
find it
out.
too.
Yeah. We're too sexy. But the way I deal with the rejection, because now I'm a voice actor and I probably audition 25 times a day, anywhere from 10 to 25 times a day, from my agents and managers. And, I book, but I don't book 25 a day. I mean, if I book 4 in a month, that's a good month. 4 good paying ones, right? 4 good paying ones. So the way I deal with the rejection, honestly, is, and this is going to sound vain, but I know what I'm doing because I studied. I didn't study when I was younger. I didn't realize the importance of studying the craft. I know how to do what I do, and I know that. And so if I don't get something, here's the next one. And I also am very self-evaluative, not critical. I do hear when I'm not quite hitting the mark right, or I know if I haven't been prepared and done the work on the scene right. I know. And I remember the turning point for me was when I was back in Atlanta and I was auditioning for a vampire movie, and my husband was auditioning for the same movie. Oh God, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't think anything ever came of it. It was a low budget, very local thing. I mean, I really don't remember. Actually, it was a big casting director, so it might have been something big. I can't remember though. But what I remember is what he said after, because I went in and I felt like I felt after a lot of my Los Angeles auditions, like I fucked that up. God, I didn't get that. There's no way I got that. Why did I fuck that up? And we got out in the car and I said that, and Jeffrey goes, "Well, what'd you learn?" I'm like, "What? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't really study the scene enough. I didn't know the scene well enough. I didn't make any choices. Like, what am I doing in the scene? Like, I didn't do my work." And from that point on, I said, okay, I can be nervous and I can be insecure and I can be scared to death when I walk into that casting office, because you are on the line, and they, as nice as they are, and most of them are very nice. And there were a lot of nice casting directors in LA. It's intimidating. It's scary. I said, but no matter what, I'm going to do the work and I'm going to prepare. And honestly, from that point on, I can be nervous when I go into an audition, really nervous. I can be nervous when I have a gig with a new voiceover client, super nervous. But I've done my work and I'm prepared, and it doesn't show. And I know it doesn't show. I know, because I know what I'm doing. So your nerves never go away.
Yes.
They inform you, like they're why you do the good work that you do. But the key to not letting them control you is preparation and knowledge. You know, lawyer woman.
Yeah.
You know,
the more prepared you are, always the more confident you are, the better, delivery you have, no matter what it is.
Yeah. It's never going to be perfect.
Yeah. No.
An audition shouldn't be perfect. It's not about that. It's about, and Bryan Cranston said this. He said, when I go, and this, I try to think this way, but I'm too insecure. But he says, when I go into an audition, I don't think, oh, I hope they like me. I think I'm going to show them, this is what I'm bringing to the role.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll do. If they like it and I'm the one for the role, fabulous. If not, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
And so I try to think about that too. And I actually do think about that.
Yeah.
Because we learn from all those people.
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
You know,
The
so.
older you get, the more you realize that
Isn't that the
everything's a
truth?
learning experience. But,
Everything.
I remember going in.
There's no end until the
no,
end.
until you're dead. Yeah.
Till you're dead.
Exactly.
And even that's not the end.
Oh. Gotta find out what's on the other side.
Bum, bum, bum. Well, we're at a horror convention, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. No, absolutely. You're absolutely on it. And I forgot what I was going to say, but that was great.
Well, with
it's right there.
The next
Everything's
3
learning.
minutes that we have, you
Yeah.
guys, before
Oh,
we
yeah.
send you guys back to
Oh.
your table, we're going to do a few rapid fire
Oh.
questions for you.
Oh, gonna have a cocktail.
I want. So you signed a boo. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah.
Good question.
Has
Well,
anyone asked to sign your boo?
Well, in a bar, someone asked me one time if they could do like a what do you, tequila shot lime thingy.
Holy
Like,
Moses.
No, not sign it. I don't think
That
I've
would
ever
be
had
weird,
anything
but
weird.
just
'Cause this is only my
something
third
that's not
convention.
Yeah, you're new to the circuit, right? This is your third convention. Yeah.
Everyone's been very kind and respectful
Yeah.
and appreciative, and mostly just talking and stories and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Nothing strange.
Well, that's good.
Lingerers. I get
Yeah.
some lingerers that you can tell they're super fans and they're nervous and they don't know what to say, and so they just really want to
That's
absorb
what it
you and talk to you, and they're so scared. And I appreciate them so much. It's like, okay, we'll just talk all day long, because I know that this is so important to them.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like when I see one of my celebrity crushes, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like, like
Celebrity crush like who?
Oh.
if I, like if Brad Pitt walked in the room, I'd still be okay with him.
Well, we have a surprise.
No, I've crushed on him for a long time.
Yeah.
We have
It goes way
Brent
back.
Pitt. from Knoxville,
Brent
Tennessee.
Pitt, the Brad Pitt lookalike from Knoxville, Tennessee, is here tonight, honey.
Well,
Just for you.
Like,
Fine. How much does he look like him? I know. I'd be all right. Chad Pitt. And his brother Armpit.
So
Did not get the good genes, Armpit. But Yeah, we did pretty good, guys, before we devolved.
So, what's one piece of advice both of you guys can give to anybody who's like a super fan trying to get into any aspect of the film industry, TV, horror, even horror podcasting, like what we do? Like, what would be some good constructive advice to give to the fans out there? They're trying to create art that is out of a love of the art that's inspired them.
Okay, I got a quick thing. Get the stars out of your eyes. Know your subject, whatever that is. If you're going to be an actor, you got to learn to be an actor. Know your business. Know your subject. Educate yourself, and then don't go home. Keep going.
Keep going.
Just
Never
keep
stop.
going.
We'll never reach the stars if you suddenly turn
That's
around and
right.
go back.
Right.
My grandma always said, and I
Yeah.
love grandma, God rest her soul, but she told me when I said I wanted to be a lawyer, and everyone was making fun of me, including my agent. My agent laughed at me. She goes, "What?" She thought I was the bimbo blonde character that I always
That you played,
stood
yeah.
for,
Yeah.
and never could see beyond that. And
Yeah.
so, if you know yourself and believe yourself, you got to go for it. And my grandma always said, reach for the stars because you just might reach them.
Well, that's right. And have realistic expectations. Like, most actors are not stars.
Yeah.
Most actors are working actors. I'm a
Well,
working actor, right? And it's hard to be a working actor.
Some of your best actors are not superstars.
Right.
Because you don't recognize them in every film because they're acting and they're so good at their craft
Right.
that they're not the same character in every film.
Right.
But when you look them up by name on the computer, you go, "Oh my God, they were in that? Oh well, yeah, I forgot that was so and so or such
Right.
and such." Your superstars most of the time always keep playing themselves.
It's kind of a personality.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. They're a good
they're
actor.
good actors.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt or George.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're always
Always
kind of
good actors,
same-
but they play the same
yes, and every
aspect of
yeah.
themselves.
And
But-
so many are in theater too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing too. If they're in
Mhm.
theater and then later on they get to film a little, it's
Mhm.
acting is a weird thing.
Well, when
It is a weird business.
So to take that, if it's for women starting, or men probably too, but if women starting out, like when I started out so long ago, 30 something plus years ago, make sure your agent is a very reputable agent, even if they take a bigger cut, because I made the mistake of going with one that, didn't take as big of a cut percentage, and they weren't as reputable, and they signed me really fast. And the first audition they sent me out on was some guy in a hotel who wanted me to come in and pretend I was having a love scene with him because he wanted to cast me for a love scene part, and he wanted to make sure I knew him.
Right.
I'm like,
There are so many people that take advantage of actors
Yes.
because actors want to work.
well, you're 20
And you're young.
years old,
Yeah.
you just start, and you walk in and you think, am I supposed to really do this scene with this guy by ourselves? And you're like, I remember walking out there and going straight over to the agency going, no, I didn't get the part because no, I'm not jumping in some hotel bed with some guy I don't know to see if I can pretend how to have, relations.
Yeah. That's all. That's how we got Kellen though.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. He did it.
Oh,
He nailed it. He also did it for deferred pay. We still haven't paid him. Yeah. Y'all are bad. I've been holding back on the cracks out of respect.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
for
guys.
coming
Yeah,
out to our
thanks.
first inaugural live horse.
Yay! Thank you guys for having us. Really, thank you so much.
You're the sweetest people we've ever met.
Oh my goodness.
Means a lot.
You want Jay run down where you can find us?
You can follow us on Instagram, the Horror Sanctum Podcast, YouTube, the Horror Sanctum Podcast YouTube channel. And we have a group on Facebook. It's called the Church Horror Sanctum, which is just a horror group for all ages, peaks, whatever you want to do.
Got about
Just
400
about-
active members right now.
Great.
Wow.
and growing. We started.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
John and I met through Facebook. We were in a group together, and it kind of turned into it was very over sexualized.
Mm.
Like, hey, look at this pinhead dildo. And I'm like, we can start.
Basically,
That's a real post.
No, that's
Like,
the real
we
thing.
pretty much-
That literally was.
I saw the post.
It's kind of grown from there. So go check us out.
I can't unsee that.
Nor should you.
And don't try it. Don't try that one.
Oh my God.
That ends poorly.
Yeah.
I'm holding back.
Yeah.
I am holding back. You
it's
have no
PG.
idea.
It's
It's PG. But it's good for exercise constraint.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
John, TJ, Brian, Honey. I'm Jay, Kellen. Until next time.
Keep it spooky.
Ooh.
Thank you guys.